Hello, and welcome back to Over the Next Hill Fitness Podcast. I'm Carla Coffey, your coach and host for today's program. This episode is brought to you by Coffee Crew Coaching. If you need a personal coach for personal training or running or what have you, if you just need to get mobile, look me up. You can email me, carla@coffeecrewcoaching.com. You can find me in the show notes. There's a little button that you can push, and that will directly link you to me, and you can send over your inquiry, or if you have a question that you would like answered on the podcast, we can do that as well. If you have friends that need me as a coach, please share. Also, follow, share, and rate the program. That really helps me climb up the ladder a little bit. It's also brought to you by Hydro Patch. If you haven't tried Hydro Patch, you really need to. There's a 20% discount in the show notes that you can use to give it a try and see if you like it, especially with the warmer weather coming up here in all over the world, finally kind of getting out of winter. It's great to help keep you hydrated. You still need to drink, but it really helps in those hotter days. So today we're going to be talking to Beth Giles. We had a lot of fun recording this as well as after. Beth and I find that we have a lot of people in our circle together, so that was kind of fun to touch base upon that. But yeah, listen to the story, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the show, Beth. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, a pleasure. I'm very excited to speak with you today.
I'm excited too. So let's get into it. When and what made you start running?
This is an interesting story. Great question, obviously, and one that I really like talking about with other runners as well. I did not start running until I should say I didn't start running consistently until the pandemic. So turn back time or don't, right? Until it was about January 2020, maybe even sooner, maybe a little bit into 2019. And I think there were a lot of people at that time that had what I call hairline anxiety, right? Like a hairline fracture. It's a little bit of anxiety running through you that is manageable and doesn't affect or impact your daily life. But there was something about the fear of the pandemic. And I remember the news story. I'm located in Wisconsin, and I remember the news story where they were setting up a makeshift hospital at then it was Miller Stadium, AmFam Field, where the Brewers play in Milwaukee. And that, for some reason, took me back to like watching MASH growing up, or just the idea of this makeshift hospital. And I thought, we had all transitioned to working at home, and I knew I needed something to get out of the house and something to help me stay calm and know that, we just needed to take one day at a time in this. And so I started walking. I would just, get up in the morning and walk. We had a little motto we were saying with our colleagues that your feet need to hit the street before your butt hits the seat. And so I was walking in the morning and then walking on breaks between meetings. And then that's when people are putting hearts in their windows. So I was watching the hearts in the windows on my walking path. And as funny as this sounds, my feet just wanted to go faster. I would get to the top of a hill and I would start running the downhills. And then I would start counting, I'll run for this many steps and then walk for this many steps. And I started playing all these little games in my head, which also gave me something else to think about for a while. And then it turned to, what if I didn't walk? What if I just ran? And it was there where I really found my bliss. I really found my peace. I found a space where I was able to breathe, where I was able to know that some way or another, we were all going to get through this. And there would be another challenge after this in my personal life, in our collective life as a world, as a society, in my professional life. And so running became, for me, the space to get through those challenges.
Yeah,
So
we call that running off the crazy.
yes, that's a great way to say it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And now you find yourself, I find myself saying at times when I can feel it inside me, like this live wire, and I'll say to my colleagues or my family or my friends, like, I just need to run. Like,
Yeah,
I just, yeah, I reacted, more dramatically about that than I should have because I just need to run. Or I
yeah.
can't decide what to order at a restaurant because I just need to run. Like I just need to center my head, right?
Yeah. So when you're driving and you see a path and people are running on it, do you get jealous and go, "Oh, I could be running right now"?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, look at
Yeah.
them. Look
Yeah.
at them.
Me
Yeah.
too. I also judge distances. Like, oh, if I break down here, I totally can run from here.
Right? Or you just think about it when your GPS says, in 0.7 miles, I'm like, oh yeah, I got that,
Yeah.
or it's 10 miles too. I'm like, okay, so it's a, 6K between here and there, whatever, or 10K, 6 miles, 10K, you're always doing
Right.
the calculations in your head
Yeah.
and how far and what would it take. So the yoga studio that I love is about 8 miles from here. So I'm like, someday, one day I'm going to run to yoga and do
Yeah.
yoga. And then someone has to pick me up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Then it's Uber home.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
it's really become that coping mechanism for me in a lot of ways.
yeah. So now have you run 8 miles before? Is that, or would that be a longer distance for you?
No, I have, so that, running to stay calm, running to cope turned into what if I ran in an organized, situation, which was another big hurdle for me because I like to be in a comparison space, for better, for worse, mostly worse, but this person, that person. So I know it's about beating yourself. So I realized my golf watch could also be a running watch. So I started watching my times and I started watching distances, and I started with the 5Ks and I went to the 10Ks. And then my husband and I really enjoy Door County, Wisconsin. It's a little
Mhm.
peninsula part of Wisconsin. It's just great. And I would see signs when we were up there for the Door County Half Marathon. And they closed, it's one of the only times they closed Peninsula State Park, which is a beautiful, beautiful park. It's very hilly. And I'm like, I wonder if I could run the Door County Half Marathon. And that gives us a reason to go to Door County. So
Yeah.
I have run it twice now.
Oh, very cool.
And that's in the beginning of May every year. And it is hilly and it is phenomenal and it is beautiful. And so um, it, I do love, I think our question of the day, where I go to yoga, we have a question of the day. And our question of the day the other day was, what's something you do that's brave? And I thought to myself, taking starting lines. Every time I take a starting line, I have to bring my brave self there to know that you'll start and you'll finish, and it'll look like whatever it looks like in between, but you'll start and you'll finish.
Hmm.
And so I love the events now. I love the races. I love the events.
That's great. How long into your walking and then running was it before you did your first race? Do you remember?
I think it was the first turkey trot. So I think I started walk running in like January, February, and I think I turkey trotted that November. And I remember not thinking I was going to make it. And then we were getting toward the end, and I saw the ambulance, which was parked at the end. And I thought, well, that's the end, and it's right there. So I should keep going. One way or another, I'll get across the finish line and I'll be okay, or I won't. And medical professionals are already
Right.
there. But I did. I got through it. I ran the whole way. Um, and then that was the first race.
Okay. And do you do that same one every year now?
I
Just
do.
yeah.
I have we've been going a few different places for Thanksgiving, so it hasn't always worked out timing wise.
Hmm.
But even there are some years that I ran that turkey trot the morning of Thanksgiving, and then we'd go back up for the weekend to Door County, and they have a very funny version of their a marathon. It's sponsored by One Barrel Brewing Company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Sure.
Um, and they move the decimal point. So it's a 2.62 mile run.
Love it.
It is, some years it's snowy, some years it's nice. It is downhill going out and then uphill coming back, but it
Oh,
is
wow.
fast and fun. And it finishes at the brewery, and it's just a great race. So sometimes I do two that Thanksgiving weekend, two little ones.
Oh, that's great. I love that,
Yeah.
moving that decimal.
Oh my gosh, it is just hysterical. And so that's what they say. It's just a fun run, but that's their version.
Yeah. Now, does your husband run with you?
He does not,
Mm.
but he has the backpack on with water and flip-flops for after and fresh socks, and really shows up on the sidelines for me. So here's me say, I see him at mile 10 in the Door County half marathon, and every time I say, "This is hard," and he's like, "And you're almost done,"
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just hearing people say that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And if it wasn't hard, everybody would do it, as they say, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly.
So now, halves, that's your go-to. You do you like the half distance? Is that your favorite?
I think 10K is my favorite,
Okay.
but I think that's just because I haven't. It's hard to carve out all the good time to prepare for a half.
Yeah.
So they're always a little bit of a struggle for me. And of course, the one that I choose to run is the elevation is just bananas. Like the first year, the people who I was starting with, they were like, "Is this your first half marathon?" I said, "It is." And they're like, "And you chose this one? Like this one? Did you read about it? Do you know?" I'm like, "Yep, yep, I know what I'm in for. Absolutely." And I was so proud of myself that first one because I ran all the hills and people were walking and I'm like, "Hey, look at me. I'm running past you." And then I got to like mile 11 and I was like, where's the exit strategy? Like, I'm not going to make it those last two. So I think, 10Ks, I feel confident all the way through. I have a little bit left in the tank at the end. I can find a little energy, when I see that finish line. But the half marathon, those are I love the distance, but it is not comfortable for me at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. So, um, have you done it for the last 5 years then, since 2020? That half?
No, no, it
No.
took me a long time to build up
Mm.
for that. I've only done 23 and 24. So I've only
Okay.
done two half marathons.
Okay. And are you signed up to do it this May?
I am. We'll
Awesome.
see. I'm struggling with a hamstring injury, which is
Mm.
fine, going to be fine. It's just interfered with training. I had to take some time off that I wasn't counting on.
Yeah.
So there's another opportunity. There are two races here in Madison, one in August and one in November, and they both have half marathon options. So I might just have to bump it back a
Okay.
little bit in the calendar year. So
Yeah. Well, isn't that funny? Hadn't talked previous, and I'm in Madison as well.
are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't have to
surprised.
explain to you where Door County is or anything
No.
like that. You're
Sorry,
like,
but
yeah,
the listeners aren't all from
okay.
Madison, but that's
So,
small world. That's great.
absolutely. Well, maybe I'll see you in November or
Yeah.
August if you race in Madison.
Yeah, and we've probably seen each other on the paths, I bet, at some
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
that's fun. So what was it like for you with learning hydration at the extended mileage of a half? Was that challenging to learn how to hydrate to go
Yeah.
from 10K to half?
100%. And I'm a terrible hydrator. I will
Mm.
just admit that. I was laughing this morning. I was listening to the latest Nobody Asked Us podcast, and Cara Gaucher was giving Des Linden a hard time about hydrating.
Hmm.
I just don't. I really I don't get thirsty. I don't like the feeling of something in my stomach
Hmm.
when I'm running. So it is very hard for me to take in fluid, and you can get away with that in a 5K. you can get away with it in a 10K. I'm not advocating for that, dear listeners. Please don't do this. um, but you can't in a half marathon. I can't. I don't. I mean, maybe if you're, I don't know, if you're not me. So I really had to teach myself, and the person that helps me with running distances and sort of coaching had to say, like, if you got to walk to get it down and walk while it gets through you, then do it. But you
Yep.
can't, or at least, swish it around in your mouth and spit it out. But you can't not. Um, I did a Ragnar race in Michigan, and it was like, I don't know, the hottest weekend on record in Michigan. There was no way it should have been this hot. It was ridiculous. And I was running my second loop or whatever, and that was one where I really, I was out there, and I didn't bring I don't even have a Camelback or even a handheld. Like, I just don't like to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so my team was like, no, you got to take this. It's so hot out. You have to take it. I'm like, okay, okay. So I took it, and I had never been happier. They all had this secret plan to, like, we're not letting her go without water. They thought it was going to be this big fight, and they're like, please take this. And I said, okay. And they're, oh, thank goodness. And I have to really convince myself to take that sip of water. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's hard for me, but it makes a huge difference. I know, logically, I know, right? You got to eat the
Yeah.
sport beans, you got to drink, or whatever. You have to drink the water. But it's hard. I would rather just go right by that aid station and deal with it
Mm-hmm.
at the end. But I'm the one that wakes up in the middle of the night with the Charlie horses and the foot cramps, So
Yeah. 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 And when you think about it, if you think about your car, you got to keep fluid in it, right? Or it
right,
doesn't run
right,
well. So
yeah,
it's the same thing with us, But yeah,
yes,
I know it's hard. I have a couple athletes that I'm just now saying, hey, do you have water bottles? Because, are you drinking at the mile mark? Just trying to get them the same way, It's like, you got to do it. You just, you have to, or you can finish, but you'll finish stronger if you
yeah.
stay hydrated.
Yeah, I mean, you don't feel terrible. I mean, there are times even when I've tried to go, all out on a 5K and get, like, my personal best or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be, having to put my hands on my knees at the end, and just because and of course there's not an aid station usually on a 5K, but it's the hydration all the way through my training that I just haven't attended
Mm-hmm.
to. And so, um it shows up. There are things that I could do to be more efficient and effective, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got
Hydration.
to train your gut to accept it too, So so you don't notice it, like you said, feeling it sloshing around. I mean, if you drink too much, obviously, but even just those sips, an ounce here and there, it will help. So
Yeah.
yeah, you could train your stomach to feel better with it. So, um, what has it been like with your family and you training? And aside from your husband, do you have children that are supportive or non-supportive or anything?
Yeah, we don't have children.
Oh, good for you.
So I think it was fun to share my experiences with my mom as
Oh
she
yeah,
aged. I would bring her, the little medal that you get even for the little races. It's
yeah.
interesting to hear you say training, and I just kind of think to myself, like, I'm just a recreational runner that likes to do things, but I do have that mindset of knowing what I want to watch, timing and pacing and all those things. So it would be fun. We'd go see her where she was living after the race at Thanksgiving, and put the medal on her neck, and she'd, show all her friends there that, look what my daughter did. And so it was fun, and she has passed now, but that is another time in my life that running really helped.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, when I knew when hospice got involved, I would run, and I would say to myself in my head, there will be a day that you will be running and your mom will no longer be with us. And it was like training myself to accept that and see that, with running as the staple. Like, running was the through line. That's what was going to be there for me as that situation happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has helped me carving out time, even just with the husband and with my job is difficult, but I also think it has had a profound effect on how I can cope with things in my family and life. Um, and finding that time away, when we're all together and I can feel, overwhelmed with peopling. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go for a run. And,
Hmm.
sometimes even the people say, oh, I'll come with you. And it's like,
Yeah. I'm okay.
Sometimes I even run and I get out there a while or a ways, and I'm like, oh, it feels maybe like a little bit of a walk day. I'll take the edge off what I want to do a little bit. So I could have had company, but the point was to get in my own headspace and work
Yeah.
through some things and calm down. So I think my family benefits from that part of my running.
Agreed. It's some of the shirts that you can see, I run so I don't kill people.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's kind of true.
Yeah, I'm a better listener. I'm a better
Mhm.
partner. Just a better person when I can get out there and get some mileage in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Like as I mentioned at the beginning, to run off that crazy. We need
Mhm,
that. And everybody has a different thing. Like some people bike, some people draw, whatever it is for you, you got to find that. And it has to
mhm.
be like just yours. And it's nice, because I run with a group of girls on the weekends sometimes, but during the week, I'm okay running alone. That's my time.
Yeah.
And I need that. We all need to find something, whatever it is, to just kind of decompress.
Yeah, absolutely. And I went through this injury and they were looking at it and talking about physical therapy. First, are we MRIing it? And then is it physical therapy? Is it this? And I kept saying there was someone on my primary care physician's team who is a runner that I get to see every now and again. And so I made an appointment with her and I was like, look, like, this is about running and right, coach. This is also about, it's about physical wellness, but it's about my mental health. Like we got to
Hmm.
fix whatever this is because I have to get back out there. Like so,
Yeah.
um, it's nice that running is that for me and that other people are feeling that as well. I had the opportunity to be a soulmate for Girls on the Run,
Oh yeah.
and that was a wonderful experience, a really fun fundraising experience and supportive experience from that particular organization. And
Hmm.
so it was great too to see that they talk about that with young girls who are getting so many messages about their body and society and bullying and all the things that they're facing now that we laugh about, like, thank goodness there weren't cell phones when I was growing up, but
Yeah.
I think it's just harder to be a young person these days, and using running in that way to teach young women or any young athlete that it's a way you can process and a way you can feel proud of yourself. And again, it's about taking a starting line and crossing a finish line. When you get to a point that you're paying attention to time, that's great, but it's also great to just get out there, and it
Hmm.
really will. Running is something that when you invest in it, the return on investment, I think, for your body and your mind is amazing and tenfold.
I agree. Yeah. I volunteer coach for the Girls on the Run. I think this will be my third or fourth season, I think. And, it's not really about the running. They do run, but it's more about the lessons that they're learning, the things that we're doing with them to help them cope with bullying and all that. So, yeah. And then the ones that come back and coach as well later it's pretty amazing. I guess a lot of them do, which is
Oh, cool.
yeah. So you're right. If you have family members or, somebody that needs an outlet, even if it is just a walk, because they don't run the
Yeah.
whole time, especially
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season when a lot of them aren't, conditioned, but just walking the fresh air, getting out there and getting the stuff out of their brain. So yeah, it's a good organization.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in the 5K. It was maybe in 2023. Is that when I was a soulmate? I think 24. But it was the 5K out in Verona,
Hmm.
Wisconsin, and it was so hot. I, remember it was like, again, one of these record heat days, and they were
Yeah.
scrambling to put up another aid station. And man, it was just a hot one. And, we were fine, but some of the girls were, uh, really, really needing the water. And it was just unfortunate, but everybody got across that line. But yeah, it was just one of those days where it's like, oh, really? Does today have to be in the 90s? All these poor, and we ran for a while on blacktop, and you could just feel the heat
The
coming
heat,
off the
yeah.
blacktop. Yeah, I had to change as soon as I got done. I'm like, oh, get this off me.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the days when I like to freeze my water pack that goes on my
Mm,
back and wear it. Even if I'm not drinking out of it, at least it's frozen. Or I have a bandana that I'll fill with ice and let that drip down your back. There's nothing better.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah, just some kind of water dripping on you.
yeah.
And when I run the neighborhood, I always look for the water sprinklers. I'm like, who's not watering their lawn today? Come on.
I know,
Where?
right? Where can I run through? I did ask someone once. I'm like, can I just run through that really quickly? He's like, knock yourself out. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I've done that too. It's the best. That's what we
It
need.
is. Yes, and it reminds you of being a kid.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah, yeah. They'll look at you a little weird, but that's all right. I'm okay with that because I am a little weird. So who cares? So you do maybe have Door County. If not, you're going to hit one of the Madison halves, and then
I
what's
hope
after that?
to. And if 2025 is just a year of 10Ks, then so be it. I have
Mm-hmm.
to be in this for the long haul. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's, my physical therapist is a runner as well. So she's really honest with me about, when to push and when to back off a little bit. So we'll see. But there will definitely be a couple once summer gets here. So
You're good.
there will
And then what's
definitely
after
be.
that? Anything that you got your eye on that you'd like to accomplish after that?
No, I mean, I don't have marathon aspirations. If I did, it would be Chicago. But I think,
Okay.
you know, um, I love following the big marathons. I put the Boston app on my phone and watch the winners come
Yeah.
in. And I love that. But I think half is it for me. I can get there, I can get across that line, and I just feel proud of myself. But I think that's all I have in the tank. I don't think I'm a marathoner. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Not everybody has to be. Just finding, what makes you happy. That's where it's at right there.
yeah, we went down the documentary rabbit hole over winter break for all the ultras,
Mm.
right? And all the documentaries about the ultras and the Barkley and all these things. And it was just fascinating. And I would watch it 100 times, and I would crew for someone for sure. I would love to crew for someone. I will never do anything like that. Like, but it is just cool. The places that this sport can take you is
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
And they keep extending the distances. It was like 250 and now there's a 300 and it's like those miles are insane.
yeah, I'm always at the races that I go to really impressed with the people who push people in the wheelchairs. I don't
Hmm.
know that I'm strong enough to do it. And I talk with them, and they're always like, well, we switch off and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. And, just come and join.
Yeah.
So maybe one day, someday, I would like
Yeah.
to do some things like that. But
Yeah. I push for Ainsley's Angels here in Madison.
yeah,
And
that's
yeah.
exactly the organization. I didn't
Yeah.
know I'm not affiliated with them, so I didn't know if I could mention it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
those are the
Absolutely.
people that I see at the race, and they're always so friendly and wonderful. But I feel like you just have to be faster than I am or have
Well,
greater strength. I don't know, but maybe
no.
I'll give it a try this year.
There's
Next
been
year.
times when we've pushed and we did two people pushing and there were three of us and then one person would move out and the other one would move in and we just circled around like that because if it's a hilly course or if the
Mm.
person you're pushing is a little bigger, then it just takes more effort. And that way you're not getting as tired as quickly. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works. They make it work. And sometimes there's like five or six people on a team, depending on,
Okay.
the amount of volunteers. And then, you're pushing 10 minutes. And then even if you're just walking, it's totally fine. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just helping them to experience that and get across the finish line too. So
Well, now
reach
that we're
out.
connected, maybe I'll
Yeah.
have more inspiration or be a little braver, not so shy to come out and just give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't push you away, I promise.
Very good.
Well, do you have any other words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience? Anything we didn't touch on that you'd like people to know about you?
Um, not I think we all have the opportunity to find some joy in movement. And I think we lose it as we get older, maybe thinking about how much I think about how much we danced as little kids, right? Or
Yeah.
just moved
Mm-hmm.
to music or otherwise. And so I would encourage people to find that joy in movement again. Um, we spend a lot of our time sitting. We have young people spend a lot of their time sitting in learning situations, and so, really remembering that our bodies were meant to move, and there is no, you have this kind of body or ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you should run because you have a runner's body, or you're
Mm-hmm.
built like a gymnast, or you're built like everybody can move. And any movement should just be celebrated and rewarded. And so I think it's getting past I remember that moment standing at the top of a hill. The sun was coming up because I like to run. I like to watch the sun come up when I run. I'm not a morning person, but I can be a morning runner. And I remember just thinking, like, what if I ran? Like it just, and so find that what if in
Mm-hmm.
your life and just meet it. And of course you and I are talking about running because that is the podcast, but whatever your what if is,
Mm-hmm.
don't dismiss it. We're so quick to dismiss our ideas before we even get to the question mark of what if. We're already on to that will never work. I could never do that. That's not possible. I don't let dreams be endangered species, right?
Oh, I
Just
love
find
that.
that what if and go toward it. Just go toward it.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. Don't let dreams be endangered species because, yeah, I talk to a lot of people and a lot of them say, oh, I'm too old for this. No, you're not. Find what it is you love and make it happen. Your version of it. Like you said, it could be your version of running. I have talked to a lady and she called it wogging. She wasn't quite jogging. She wasn't quite walking. She was
I
calling it
love it.
wogging. I know, right? That's great. You do you.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's probably what I look like at the end of my half marathon sometimes. I think I'm walking. So
Mm. That's all that matters that you finish, though. It's at the end. That's all that matters.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's don't count yourself out before you even got in the situation, the game, the dream. Don't take yourself out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wise words. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Well, it was great to have met you, and I'm sure I'll see you on the path sometime. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh my gosh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for all that you do for the running community as well. We need each other.
Absolutely. Thanks. Bye bye now.
Bye.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please continue to follow, share, and rate the program. If you're needing that coach, reach out to me. There's a button in the show notes that you can contact me directly. Share it with a friend if you think their story needs to be on the podcast. I'd love to hear from them. So thanks again and have a great day.